by allying with the BJP, and that's where I want to go across to Aspire Swaminathan, that the AIADMK is no longer the original AIADMK of MGR, which was far more rooted in Dravidian ideology than the current AIADMK of EPS and OPS. It seems to be okay to ally with the BJP. Give me a moment as I try and fix that connection, but let Sandeep Shastri respond to that same question about the fact that the AIADMK's ideological moorings, never as ideologically rooted a party as the DMK, but have they been blunted by this alliance with the BJP?
Rahul, I don't think they have been blunted by the alliance with the BJP, but I think the disadvantage the Anna DMK has faced is a lack of clarity on who is the inheritor of Jayalalitha's legacy. I think there are multiple competitors for that, whereas on the other hand, inheriting Karunanidhi's legacy, Stalin was able to directly project himself as the inheritor of that legacy. So that factor, I think, has played an important role. And after 10 years of being in power, if you are fighting an election on collective leadership, the question then comes up that Tamil Nadu politics has always been leadership driven. And I think the present Anna DMK leadership has not been able to transfer to itself the support which Jayalalitha enjoyed when she was around, and that explains also to me the Anna DMK being on the retreat or taking a back seat. I'm not too sure whether the BJP alliance has impacted them negatively, but I think it's more the internal dynamics of the Anna DMK at this point of time.
You know, speaking of the internal dynamics of the AIADMK, let's spend a moment looking at why people who voted for the AIADMK said they voted for the AIADMK. 46% thought, these are AIADMK supporters, that the AIADMK did a good job. 27%, that's 1 in 4, say they voted for the AIADMK because of Palanisamy. So they voted for AIADMK because of Chief Minister Palanisamy. That's straight away 1/4 of the respondents saying that this was the reason. Because of Modi is 8%, a stable, strong government is 8%, attention to development is 7%, COVID management is 2%, but 27% saying they voted AIADMK because of Palanisamy and 46% saying they thought the government did a good job is not a bad approval rating to have, given the scale of the challenge that confronted him.
No, I think what we have, and Rahul, it's a point I made earlier, I think COVID has brought a number of leaders to the fore. Vijayan is an example, Palanisamy is another example, and I think we have to start recognizing what is COVID leadership. It requires empathy, it requires a strong social sector push, it requires you to do genuine welfareist politics. And I think Palanisamy to some extent, and certainly Vijayan did that. It's a southern state legacy, right from the days of MGR to Palanisamy, or indeed in Kerala when it comes to empowering people. These are states which have strong social welfare policies. The leaders who represent that do reasonably well. But I think Palanisamy had a huge mountain to climb, given the fact that the AIADMK was recovering still from the death of Jayalalitha. So I think that makes things very, very difficult. Aspire Swaminathan, do you agree that this was a mountain to climb? I know okay, let's get in a final word on Tamil Nadu before we go from Veera Raghav. A final word on Tamil Nadu. Will Stalin, in a sense, be really able to fill Karunanidhi's shoes? Is it much more difficult for him?
I think this is Stalin's biggest test. Winning the election was handed down on the platter. It would have been a problem for him had he not won it. I mean, it was an issue. If he couldn't win this election, there was no election he was ever going to win. So he's won this election. The circumstances all...
No, if the polls are right. He's won it if the polls are right. I keep adding, if the polls are right. Let's be very clear.
That's right, that's right, that's right. A big if there, you're right. But I think the road ahead is extremely important, what he wants to leave behind, and I don't think it's only important for DMK or Stalin. I think it's very important for the Dravidian legacy itself. If Stalin delivers a statesman-like good government, it will uphold the Dravidian legacy, and you will have a real challenge to other forces that are building up in the state, including the BJP.
Mr. Sarvanan, is that the real challenge now? Is that the real challenge, Mr. Sarvanan?
Yeah, the first challenge would be tackling COVID and the dwindling financial resources. And of course, our leader, Mr. M.K. Stalin, in the last few years had shown how to run the government. See, he has written in a number of statements, has approached the court, approached the central government everywhere. He has kept his ideology. He has been true to the ideology of the DMK party. That is the reason why DMK, even after our leader, great leader Dr. Kalaignar, people believed him. His strong belief in the ideology of the DMK. I think that is what has also given this election to us in a platter. And his hard work. Definitely he'll continue. He'll be one of the biggest statesmen. He's going to be the conscience keeper of the country.